morning, kid. Welcome to Wednesday. It's, what's this, number 54? Morning Medley 54? Possibly? It's just me and you, kid. So I'm gonna play Reflection Pool because I feel like that's appropriate, given the current company. How was your Tuesday? How's your Tuesday, kid? Good morning. Oh, good evening. Yeah, it's kind of weird that we're already on 54. I guess when you're streaming daily, they rack up kind of quickly. This is the first morning medley I was able to catch. Oh. Well, thank you for being here. Good morning, Max. Well, thank you for making the time to come back in, even though it's been a while. Word up time zones. Where do you live? No one. Southeast Asia? No way. What's the weather like there right now? It's okay. I've never been to Southeast Asia. Oh, hi, Cyber. No, I think I'm okay. I'm okay. Sounds like fun, Max. No worries, Max. Sounds like you had more fun anyway. Hey, Jelly. Welcome back. How'd your Tuesday end up going, Joey? Sorry. Ooh, somebody asked a kind of long question. Sorry, I didn't see it. I'll have to wait for somebody else to say something for it to show up again. You're going back and forth between scales, right? How did you learn to navigate this so swiftly? What should I practice? I don't know scales, so I don't know what you should practice. I'm just playing stuff that I came up with. I'm not really thinking about scales. If I am or I'm not switching between two of them. I'm sorry. God, I know that's such an unsatisfying answer. This is so weird. God, I have to like really study what those three chords are, because I feel like I play those in succession a lot, and I put those in a lot of my songs, but I don't really know. Um, Crap, now I have to read everything under that question. But I can't because the questions have disappeared. Uh... Oh my goodness. Good luck, Jelly. Wait, is it snowing up there? How often does it snow in Seattle? Are you indeed in Seattle right now? Have you left home to go somewhere? I'm sorry, Tsunami Sounds. That's so weird. I guess that makes sense. I've just never visited Seattle during the winter. Yeah, I hope for no ice storm. That's awful. Oh, the street sweeper's coming. I apologize about the noise. Thank you, Jelly, on behalf of Tsunami Sounds. That wasn't Lens. That was a street sweeper. Oh, did you not hear me? Right before the street sweeper came, I said there's a street sweeper coming. I feel like my voice just kind of blends into music sometimes. And when I say things, it doesn't sound like I'm talking to the people. Just a white noise machine in the back. bridge of that song, but it's getting there slowly. Starting adding like variations to that bit. Maybe I go up or something? Anyways, I'm gonna move on. I'll practice that later. Changed if you just take the same exact chord progression and you just change the rhythm in which it's played or the timing. Is rhythm and timing synonymous? Probably not, but we're using them interchangeably right now. Change the rhythm. You can give it kind of a different. It puts emphasis on different chords. I'm speaking in an obvious truth, but like. The original arrangement of that is. I forgot the new way I played it. You know, even I forget that I released I Miss You a lot of the time. The Lost Polaroids um, EP kind of ended up living up to its name of being kind of lost in time and lost in scheduling and everything. Because those songs like Bacon and Eggs, Tuesday, Miss You, um, I very rarely talk about them. I also never play them in the streams. And I think that most people that even listen to my music aren't very aware of them as releases. Here's a song called Double Let's. Oh, hi, Nicola. Nicholas. Nicola. There's a different name. Was it Jorge? What do you hear in your head first usually? What part of the tune? That's a good question. I want to say it's melody, but it's not really consistent. Whoa, that's way prettier. I might have to change double let's, guys. Um, what part do I hear first? I hear melody in context of chords most of the time, right? Like when I'm making a song, I'm rarely starting with percussion from an idea. Rarely. It's not never, but it's just not common. I'm usually starting with melody, but I'm not just starting with a random melody. Even when I came up with double let's, I was hearing the melody in context of the chords because just a melody for me doesn't mean a lot. Like without context of the chord progression, I don't really care too much about melody. Doesn't do much for me. So I guess what I hear first is chords and melody kind of fused together, or at least I'll hear it. Like if I'm hearing this, I'm hearing an idea of the chords. I don't know exactly what the chords sound like. I don't know which notes make up the chord, and I don't know how the chord is going to be played. But I know a general like. Yeah. But when I play it, like, of course, when I play it. How do I play that without the left hand? Wow. My left hand's crazy. Anyways, it goes. That is so weird. It's really hard for me to play the left hand without the right hand. There we go. Yeah, I have to at least like mime the right hand in order to be able to play it. Wow, that's weird. Yeah. Oh, if anything, that's helping me prove my own point, Cyber. I usually learn melody in context and group together with the chords. I don't really come up with a chord progression and then put a melody on top of it, or do a melody and then put chords at the bottom of it. Even for a song like Winter Heart. Wow. See, I'm messing up on it. A lot of, yeah, a lot of my songs kind of, I'm writing the two parts simultaneously, um, and so it's hard for me to separate them. I see them as one big chunk. Sometimes it's even harder when you think about songs like Key Lime. I can't play the melody from Key Lime at all, even though I can hum it in my head, which is da 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 Yeah, I'm not even gonna try because this is embarrassing. But I learned melody fused together with the chords. I can't play the chords of Key Lime all by themselves either. I know this one. Oh, I guess I can play the chords without the melody. I just don't know how to play the melody because if you think about Key Lime, or at least the way I play Key Lime, I'm not playing the chords and the melody up here. Yeah, see, I'm messing it up because the chords and the melody are played with both hands simultaneously. So I don't know how to separate them. And that's true for a lot of my songs, unless I produced it first and then made a piano version of it later. Because in that case, the melody and the chords are usually two different tracks. Like a song like "Close Down." Very easy for me to separate the two because they were created one after another. I came up with the chords and then I came up with the melody. A song like "Flight Plan." It's pretty easy for me to separate those. Whereas a song like, what's a good one? This one, "Over the Pond." I'm actually doing pretty good. Up a little bit in it. Which songs are the most complex for you to play? Of the ones I've made, which of my songs are the most complex for me to play? I mean, double lets I mess up on that one a lot. I mean, the complexities are very contextual, so playing double lets, this part isn't hard. But there's a point in the song where that part moves up a little bit here. Something about moving the entire up here makes it very difficult for me because I know music not based off of like theory or scales. I know it off of muscle memory. So a lot of the times I can feel my body trying to reject this. Like it is right now. It's trying to go back to what my muscles want to go to. That's what I'm used to. So playing it up here is annoying. There's a few songs that are like that. If I play this song, that song I had to kind of brute force my way through because I always wanted to play it here. And it, actually, if you listen to me play that song, I get to a certain point in it where I do revert back to that. It goes. Now I'm back to the more natural one. And that was actually an accident while playing the song. While playing the song, I could feel my hands constantly trying to revert back to here instead of here. So eventually, I was about here, and my fingers slipped down there. And it sounded bad going from here. But I was like, oh, if I just keep playing, it'll add context to it. So. But I would say that any songs where I have to move the entire thing, or as Cyber said, a key change, move the entire thing I'm playing up or down, it's very challenging for me. Do you listen to Potu? I do not, but I'm aware of him. I think that the problem the problem with answering that question, Jolie, sorry, is I think a lot of the things that I play are complicated, or at least were at one point to me. Like Over and Under used to be very difficult for me to play. Just this part. That part used to be really difficult for me to play, but just out of repetition, it became something that's very easy and kind of mindless for me. So it's hard for me to say which of my songs are most complicated. But I want to say a lot of my songs kind of rest in a very specific zone, right? Like either it's chords doing kind of like a certain rhythm while the melody does stuff over it, or they'll be made up of kind of a combination of chords and melody like Key Lime is, or whatever. And I like this kind of rhythm a lot with the bass. If you listen to a lot of my music really closely, you'll hear that rhythm coming up a lot in it. I'm not gonna go through all of the songs, but it's in a lot of my songs. Trust me. That's Suspended in Love. It's also in a Flight Plan. So to trust me on that one. Anyways, a lot of my songs will rest on a certain, like, this is the rhythm, this is the rhythm, or this is the rhythm, or this is the rhythm. It kind of has a resting rhythm usually, and that follows throughout the thing, throughout the song. And Over the Pond changes that quite a bit because it starts off here. any songs I have that change quite a bit throughout it are difficult or complicated or complex for me because usually what happens is I'll kind of lull myself into a trance while playing a song, and I'll be able to relax and not think about things too much because my left hand is just kind of repeating the same rhythm over and over, and my right hand is kind of just going this. So even though that's complicated, it's just the same thing over and over. So I can kind of relax while playing it. But Into Thin Air, this one has a lot of different rhythms because it starts off really slow, then it gets to that part. Then it has these bits, which are difficult for me because my left hand is very weak, as most people's are, especially when they first start playing piano. So having individual like movement, isolated movement with my left hand is difficult. And so usually when I'm playing something with my right hand, I'll just have my left hand mirror it. Those are the same notes. That's how that part used to go. But I thought it would be cool if the left hand did a harmony of it instead, which is that. Like a lot of parts like that. Anything that changes a lot throughout the course of the song. This song was very difficult for me because even though it was just even stabs of chords, they were over what was at the time for me a complicated lead. But I don't know if there's any song that I have right now that's so complicated that it's difficult for me to play. I'm constantly trying to challenge myself, I guess. But I feel like Vanilla has constantly given me trouble. If I if I can play all the way through Vanilla in a stream without messing up or having to hesitate, and not even a cool artistic hesitation, like literally I'm just like, what's the next chord? It's Vanilla. And that's because Vanilla, I didn't write on piano. I actually wrote Vanilla on my laptop, just like clicking in notes. And I wasn't exactly clicking in notes that would have been natural for me to play Vanilla these chords, because they're not difficult chords to play. They just don't make a lot of logical sense to my hands to play after one another. I don't know why I'm getting through it now, but I have to be honest with you. I was not relaxing at any point throughout playing that, especially towards the second half. It's just not. It doesn't flow for my hands. Hesitating. Hesitating. Wrong chord. Complicated songs. Usually, when there's a complicated song, to the maybe annoyance of the stream, I'll usually just play it a lot over and over and over. For example, earlier in the stream today, I was doing the bridge for Spring Street because this. I mean, I'm constantly trying to also add stuff to it. So that's another thing that's really important, Joy Star. A lot of my songs get complicated, but very, very slowly. Because you remember the bridge for Spring Street about a year ago used to just be Hush Hour. Basically, it was. And then I turned that into its own individual song, and then I added this new bridge to Spring Street. Which was a lot more complicated for me to play, but I added it very slowly. Hello, Leanna. And then I didn't want it to just keep doing like, focus on the melody if you can, and the right hand and what the right hand's doing. Repeating that over and over again. So I started slowly adding slight variations. Like every day I would add like a different note. So then it was. Like it go up instead of under. And then I added an octave to that, so it went. I started walking the bass line up slowly so that it wouldn't just be that same kind of dead note. I messed up. Saw me like adding this part, so of course this part's really rusty, but I'm slowly adding little bits and pieces to it. Whereas maybe somebody that's learning how to play a very complicated piece has this huge chunk of very complicated music all at once, and then they're like struggling to kind of navigate their way through it. On my end, it's more like I come up with a very simple piece of music, and then over the course of weeks, months, years, I'm adding a little part here, I'm changing a rhythm here, I'm adding a second part, I'm taking out a part and replacing it with a new part. And so at the end of a year, a developed piece, for example, Flight Plan, doesn't sound very much like the recorded version. Same thing with Spring Street. Like, this obviously is not on the Signals version of Spring Street. Because over time, my songs just get gradually more complicated to catch up with my own skill level, or to advance my skill level. Do I ever do funny stuff like swapping the hands and playing the bass with the right hand and the melody with the bass? Yes and no. So for the way I play keyboard, a lot of the times there are chords played in the left hand, melodies played in the right hand. For example, Baby Be Less. Chords down here, melody up here. And that's true for a lot of my songs. Chords down here, melody up here. But there are some of my songs where I swap chords for melody, but what happens when I do that, I'm going to switch to Rhodes really quick because I like the way it sounds better on Rhodes. So when I swap chords for melody, for example, here is, again, Baby Be Less, so. The chords are. And I would start to play melodies with the left hand with chords in the right hand. However, since the notes of here are so low, they sound like bass lines. If you're playing a melody in the bass, it's going to just sound like a bass line. So there are a few of my songs where I would have a bass with the chords being played in the right hand. And so, yes, I have swapped. Not even to be like goofy or funny, there's just some times where I want to have an active bass line where I want the bass line to shine more. Even if you think about songs like I Miss You, the bass line is doing most of the movement. bossa nova rhythms, a lot of it is more, the movement is in the bass. Just how most bossa nova is, at least with the keyboard. A lot of the movement relies on the bass, while the right hand isn't really doing a lot of melody work as much as it's doing chord work. So songs like I Miss You, or songs like Groom Cake. Because if you play a lot of those songs without the bass line, there really is no melody. Somebody would be really hard pressed to find a melody from this song. And somebody could also say, oh, well, a song needs melody in order to be catchy. But if you have a very, I'll say mobile or a very active bass line, it can replace the function of what a melody would serve, right? And there's a few songs that I have like that. There's even a few times where in the middle of my songs where in the absence of a melody, I'll put a moving bass. Like if you think about this point in Over the Pond, this part. Sorry, I'm gonna try to fast forward with my brain to get there. Yeah. Now, if you listen to this, this is very clearly the melody is in the right hand, and the chords are in the left hand. And then watch here. So now I'm just playing very basic chords with my right hand, and the bass line is doing most of the walking and the work there. So it doesn't even have to be just one or the other. You can have a lot of you can have melody going in the right hand. You can switch to having the right hand do the chords and then the bass coming in. I was more referencing if you crossing your hands over. I asked because I don't recall too many songs where you do that, or at least from what I've seen on the stream. There's this song where I cross over, but that's more so to do arpeggiation. That's a song to cross over, but oh, you're just talking about. You're not talking about in service of the music. You're talking about just for no reason at all. Just so I can cross my hands. No, I don't really do that. Stuff like that, like crossing my hands, or I guess playing backwards, just for no reason. I guess not something that interests me very much since I haven't done it. But wow, I feel like my answer was more interesting than the answer that I would have given to what you were actually asking. So I'm gonna stick by my answer, and that music is versatile, and you can kind of swap out pieces like basses, chords, and melodies for any. Hello, William. Yeah, no. Like, I feel like all this does is limit you, because when you're thinking about playing an instrument, I can't remember who said this, but somebody said this that knows a lot more about music than I do, and I feel like it was either at a YouTube, it was either in a YouTube video or it was at one of my shows, but he was like, you should be comfortable while playing an instrument. That's the thing that comes first. You should be comfortable. And I think that like a lot of the people that are like, oh, you should have good posture while playing piano, you should be holding your hands like this, the reason that they're saying that isn't because, well, maybe it is because of some weird pretentious like judgment scenario that I don't necessarily fit into. But I think one of the main reasons people are saying that a lot is because if you're playing piano hunched over, if you're going to be playing for a long time, it can like hurt you. You can actually cause yourself physical pain if you're playing with like, and maybe if your seat's too low and so you're having to play the piano like this, or if your seat's too high and you're having to play piano like this, it's kind of like there is a natural or more comfortable way that people typically play piano. If that's uncomfortable for you, maybe you should be playing piano differently. And it's kind of like if you're playing bass guitar, they always say that you shouldn't be Like this shouldn't be what you're doing. It kind of should be a natural bending of your wrist. You shouldn't be angling your arm because that over time it's going to fatigue you really bad and it's not going to be very comfortable and it's going to actually counteract all the work you're putting into playing the music. I feel like going like this for extended periods of time does this thing to your wrists where your wrists are like this while you're playing. They're basically bent at not a full 45, not at a full right angle. 90-degree angle? Why did I say 45? Anyway, anyways, it's bent at a pretty uncomfortable angle. Kind of like if you were going to be playing piano like this. Now, if I played all of my songs like this, sure, would it open some new possibilities? Yeah, one called Pain. This is horrible, and this does not feel very good. And so if you were playing all of your bass lines and your chords with your right hand, I think the wrist bending is the only issue I would be concerned with. Maybe it does open some, like, different possibilities, like, oh, my thumb is now on the bottom and can do some things that my pinky couldn't do? Absolutely, because that happens even when I'm playing up here. My thumb is just stronger than my pinky is. I just said that without doing any research. I don't know if that's true. No, it's definitely true. Anyways, and so I just feel like, yeah, if I was playing like this, even when I'm going like this, I can feel it. I can feel like there's this weird tension where I'm like, I need to get back over. And in this song, it goes, it's here. There. The only reason that's okay is because I'm just barely tapping notes with my left hand. Sorry. Now I'm getting them confused. Because if you see, like, my arms are constantly bumping into each other, too. It's just not a very comfortable way to play. But it would be cool. It would be cool. I think about that when I see people that, like, there's this dude that has no arms, but he plays, what is it, trumpet? There is some, like, one of those, like, inspirational Facebook videos about this guy, and he, like, plays with his feet. I'm not going to try to recreate this image because I'm not. But he plays trumpet with his feet. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. But I'm pretty sure he's only doing that because he doesn't have any arms. I don't think he would be doing that if he had arms. Guys, we've ran over an hour. I just got really into that question for some reason. I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody whose time this is wasting. But let's be real. Nobody's been here for a full hour except for me and Jellystar. Wait, did Jellystar leave? No, Jellystar's still here. Oh. Okay, let me go over a little bit of news. Guys, nothing has changed since yesterday. Isn't that marvelous? It's very beautiful outside, though, today. The cul-de-sac, we just had the street sweeper come through. They took away one of my trees. There was a tree that was outside my window, and they yanked it out of the roots. Not very happy about that, but they also swept the street, as a street sweeper will do. And, not gonna lie, it's looking nice. I think I'm gonna spend most of the day outside of the house. I might go to Union Station and play the piano there if I'm feeling up for it. But I do have a little bit of work to do. As far as shows, guys, there aren't any booked. You know, somebody emailed me about booking me for a show. In fact, 2 people emailed me about booking me. 3 people emailed me about booking me for a show here in Los Angeles. And I'm on the fence. I don't know. I need to start vacationing in the Southwest for winter. This snow stuff is not for me, says Jellystar. Woo! Come on down. It's beautiful. It's marvelous. It's marvelous. Hold on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You tell them, Omni. You tell them. You tell them how good it looks. Look at this. Ignore my dirty windows. These windows will never be clean. That's it, baby. Not a cloud in sight. Just one lonely palm tree. Oh, never mind. There's 2 over there. I mean, there's snow in my heart. Jellystar, remember that song, Winter Heart? That song was about the everlasting winter inside of me. Guys, I have 2 albums, EPs. I call them EPs, then I call them mixtapes. I don't care what they are, but they're really not official albums. But That's the terminology that all people use, so I'm just saying albums for the sake of releases. I have two of them out right now. But this angle's way better. Why was I using this the whole time? They're on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Play Music, Amazon, MP3, Tidal, Groove. Sorry, I didn't even say what they were called. One's called Ego Death. The other one's called Quick Breath. Ego Death has Vanilla in it, which I play sometimes in the stream. You might recognize it from the example of complicated music I have that I constantly mess up on playing. And somehow I'm like blazing through right now. I messed up there. I'm not going to count that. And then Quick Breath, which has it has this one. It has a lot of house type music. You know what's wild? People still don't know that Quick Breath and Ego Death exist. I talk about them every day. Somebody messaged me on Instagram yesterday about one of my Instagram stories, and they're like, "Yo, you have any new music coming out? Or did you release anything recently?" And I was like, "I put out 2 albums." And they're like, "Oh, I'll have to listen to them when I have time." And I was like, "Wow, they didn't even know." It's weird. I feel like I never shut up about it. Sometimes I get my own on my own case because I feel like I'm being annoying in streams. Because you guys know, but I kind of have to keep saying it because somebody doesn't. Somebody doesn't. Once I asked a reggae musician if he listened to classical music, and he laughed in my face. That sounds like a mean thing to do. Why would you laugh in someone's face? You know what? Now that you're saying it, I think if you asked me if I listened to reggae, would I laugh? I think not flippantly. I would answer your question, then I would maybe chuckle to myself a little bit because yeah, I don't listen to reggae music. I went through this really weird. Do you know who Manu Chao is? Manu Chao. I went through a phase where I listened to him a lot. This is not the topic we're going over. Ego Death and Quick Breath are the name of my 2 albums, and they're out now. I got my burger at a restaurant, and the waiter laughed in my face. What on earth? Why are people laughing at people? You can find them on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Deezer, Napster, and YouTube. When somebody says, you know what's really weird? I've played that chord progression over the DSPs so many times that when somebody says YouTube, I hear the chord that goes with it. I hear this. Isn't that stupid? Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Play Music, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. It's really weird. If you want to call Ego Death Insta Death, like some kind of social media role-playing cast. Huh? I mean, that's cool. Ego Death, Insta Death, Quick Breath, Insta. Is it because quick breath, Insta Death? I think I said Insta Death yesterday when I was talking about a game in Apex. Okay. The 2 albums are out. As far as merch, it's coming this year. As far as streams, you're in one. Oh, congratulations. You all made it into one. Beautiful chord. Very beautiful. We love to see it. We love to see our chords live. Oh, man. Okay. The streams, though, only happen on YouTube. I got a message 2 days ago on Instagram. Somebody said, you know, I know you're real busy on me, but I do miss the streams. Makes me sad that you haven't really been streaming at all this year. And I said to them, I do stream. I stream on YouTube now. Every morning at 9 a.m. I do it a lot, actually. In fact, we just had our 50th stream. And then they said nothing. They just read the message and didn't say anything. And I was like, oh, word up. And they're not here. So I hope they're doing okay wherever they are. In my DMs. I'm going to start playing Hush Hour now. Hush Hour got its name because everybody told me, and I'm being very careful with what I say now because I don't want this to come off as like some kind of weird racist thing. But for whenever I was in like playing the shows in Japan, everybody told me, like, because I told them I was probably going to go to China or go to Hong Kong one day, and they were like, "Oh, be careful, it's really loud there, super loud." And I was like, "What are you talking about? America's loud all the time." And they're like, "No, it's different. It's like extra loud. I went to Hong Kong, super quiet, very chill. Maybe I was no, and I was out during rush hour. That's what's so weird. I was out during like the most chaotic point in the morning where everybody's going to work. Very quiet. Which is where the song title Hush Hour came from. I don't know if I talked about that in the stream before. Cyber saying something. I will say Hong Kong has a reputation of smog and stuff, but most of the noise is centered in the fabrication facilities. Word up. I wasn't in there. Yeah, I wasn't in there. That might be why it was really quiet for me. It's really cool. I gotta go back to Hong Kong. I gotta get back to Hong Kong, baby. I have no friends in Hong Kong, so I was by myself the entire time. And I'll tell you what, it was amazing. Like the good kind of amazing. Like a fresh loaf of bread. Guys, it's Wednesday, which means we're halfway through this week's streams. I will be here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. as per usual. I would love to see you guys, but if I don't, I hope you have a good Thursday and a good Wednesday today. I'll try to be more active on my Instagram. Well, last time I said I was going to do a questionnaire, I ended up not doing it, but maybe today's the day. I hope everybody has a good one. Thank you, as always, for being respectful to me and polite to each other. Do something fun today. Take care of yourself. Abo, everybody.